As we continue the best of the story, how God is working in the lives of people here at Lubbock Christian University, you may have heard we have a new president. And after a prayerful search, God has brought to us Dr. Scott McDowell to engage in this important kingdom work here at LCU. Dr. McDowell, thanks for taking the time to be a part of the best of the story.
Thank you, Raymond.
Let's start with our first question. How was the process of coming to Lubbock Christian University, going through the interviews? How did all that work, and how do you see God playing a role in that?
It's been a tremendous process. Real grateful to Bill Peterson and Carter Baldwin, that whole search consulting team, and Terry Creech, and he put together a great committee. You were part of that committee. Bill Bundy was the chair, phenomenal committee, and so I was made to feel comfortable at every stage of the game. And so, phenomenal process. Very excited to be here at LCU as the 7th president, so that means there were 6 that went before. And it's pretty inspiring every morning when I walk into the office to see F.W. Maddox's picture up there, to see a huge statue of him on campus, and to hear the stories about him and literally the spirit that he had to lead this institution from little more than a dream, and then to follow it through, and Dr. Hacker and Pruitt and Dr. Lemley, who has sat in this office and welcomed me to this place, phenomenal man, Ken Jones, and of course my immediate predecessor, Tim Perrin. And I'm just indebted to all of them. And you know, you hear this kind of thing and it sounds maybe a little trite, but I really do stand on the shoulders of those that went before me. And those leaders did a great job. And I think they, to a person, left LCU better than they found it. And that's really what I want to try to be about.
When you were learning about Lubbock Christian University, there was probably 1 or 2 things that you thought, you know, I really like that. Or maybe that there were a couple things that attracted you to Lubbock Christian. Can you recall those? What would those be?
Well, I legitimately, we chose Lubbock Christian before it chose us, in the sense that my middle son, Cade, is a basketball player for the men's basketball team. And so a couple of years ago, we went through the process of discovering LCU. And I'd known LCU for years because I've got friends here and connections here. The student life team, we'd been associated as colleagues over the years. And so we knew it was a good fit for our son, and he's had a great experience. So legitimately, you care about no one more than your kids. And so to have entrusted him here, we already felt good about the institution. And then to know that LCU was looking for a president, it just seemed like a wonderful opportunity. And so I love the ethos of the place, particularly love the mission of LCU to be a Christ-centered, legitimately Christ-centered institution. And I think Lubbock is just a tremendous, tremendous asset to us, because we've got a population base that is large enough to be able to leverage that for graduate students, even for some non-traditional students. And I hope that we can be very successful in the veterans, serving our veterans. And you've got to have a population base to be able to do that. And Lubbock is just a wonderful place for an institution to thrive.
When you talked about this for just a second, about a Christ-centered education, talk a little bit about your thoughts on Christian higher education.
I have been the product of Christian education and have been incredibly blessed by it, and particularly blessed by mentors. And one of my mentors is Dr. Carl McKelvey, and he shared his vision of Christian education, Christ-centered education, is different from the core. And there is a quantitative difference that is fundamentally all about the way we treat people and the way we see people and the way we value people. And that is, again, qualitatively different from the root. And so, again, we understand that students are individuals made in the image of God, that they're created with intentionality and purpose. And that is a legitimate edge that we can leverage in the marketplace. So we know that you've been created with intentionality and purpose. My personal life mission is to equip students to discover their creative purpose and embrace their place in God's story. And so I want to be a part of a community that is all on board with that vision, that mission. And that's something that I see alive and well here at LCU, and understanding that God is alive and well, and that students are made in His image, and we want to help them discover their place in this world.
Dr. McDowell, you've been busy during your start here at LCU, just reflect on your first couple weeks. Is there something that comes to mind that you have said, man, I'm really proud of that?
Well, I've been very proud of the interaction with the Board of Trustees in particular, and some traction around an idea that we're calling for the time being Catalyst Scholars. And when we think about Catalyst Scholars, these are students that are what I'd call maybe a natural born leader. Students with high character, the kind of students that are serious about their faith relationship with the Lord and their commitment to the Lord, and that lead others, and that have a demonstrated track record of servant leadership and of catalyzing good behavior in their peers. Those are the kind of students we really want to have at LCU. And for some of those students, the idea of a Christian education may seem out of the realm of possibility. And so what's so exciting about this is that we're going to do 5 of those scholarships that are essentially full tuition scholarships starting in the fall. And we're trying to get that word out right now. It's going to be a nominated scholarship. We want those students to pay their room and board, so they've got some skin in the game as well. And what that will entail is that I will invest significantly personally in mentoring them. Kay and I will have them in our home at least monthly. And we will ask them to serve the institution and be a part of what we're trying to do in terms of hosting other students on campus, hosting events on campus, and going with us out into the community to tell the story about LCU. So I'm very excited about that, and want to get the word out to our alumni base that they can nominate people for that. And I think it's going to open up some doors in maybe some regions and some markets where we've never had an influence, that we can broaden the scope of what's going on with LCU.
So that concludes the best of the story. Dr. McDowell, thank you so much for being a part of this. I know that God will bless this campus because of your presence and allowing God to work through you here at this university. God has blessed this place since 1957, and I know that He will continue to do it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond.